Let me just adjust my camera a bit because kinda need to set up yung configuration ng ating phone for this evening. Okay, so hello, good evening. Daniel P. Yuson, present. Attendance tayo with everyone. There. Daniel Yuson is here. Rodvin Fiel is also here. Good evening. Sabi niya, present sir. Travel Junkie is also here. Hello, present po. Sabi niya. So, yun. This evening, we'll just go straight to the point with the things that we're going to be discussing. And we will be discussing updates on the Binibining Pilipinas front. We will be talking about the resignation of Esther Swan from the Miss Universe organization, as well as we will be tackling a bit yung issue ng Miss Universe Vietnam with regards to yung participation ni Lethao Ni for Miss Universe. Okay, so I have with me several of my notes with regards to the updates and the topics that we're going to be discussing. So medyo mabilisan yung ating discussion for this evening because I want to make this as quick and short and as succinct as possible. So good evening everyone. Before we start with the kamustahan doon sa mga bagong dating, I would like to ask everyone to like and share yung live stream natin for this evening para mas marami yung makakita, and I hope you give a thumbs up doon sa pa-live stream natin ngayon so that it activates our algorithm. Okay? Especially yung YouTube algorithm na very nagkaroon ng some changes, I believe, doon sa the way that it is being carried. Kasi the more that you engage, you comment on the live stream, the more that it is being shown to a lot of people. So thank you very much for the support. I hope na you like, you subscribe, and you follow me here on YouTube. Kasi mas madali na ngayon ang mag-schedule ng live stream with regards to YouTube as to compared to siguro mga 5-6 months ago where nangangapa pa ako. So okay, unang-una ang pag-uusapan natin is yung Binibining Pilipinas updates. Kasi I think that's the meat and bones ng mga updates natin for this week. Kasi Binibining Pilipinas just had its talent night show, and during the talent night show nabanggit nila that on May 28 yung coronation ng Binibining Pilipinas 2023. So mark your calendars on May 28, that is a Sunday, dahil yan yung magiging finals at coronation night ng Binibining Pilipinas. So with that already announced and official, I believe, yung mga release na kanila mga photo shoots down until yung schedules nila for the release, or rather for the filming ng kanilang opening billboard. So mangyayari yan around after the Holy Week. So sunod-sunod na yung mga public na mga appearances nila. So yung mga nag-aabang diyan ng mga activities ng Binibining Pilipinas, you will be having all of these activities spread out between the second week of April up until the coronation night on the 28th. So alam naman natin na na originally supposed to be on the 14th yung schedule ng Binibining Pilipinas. However, if matandaan nyo yung update ko around a month and a half ago sa pa-live stream natin, nabanggit ko the dates that Binibining Pilipinas is actually considering is between the dates of the 14th until the end of May. So hindi tayo nagkamali doon. Although there were pronouncements sa mga candidates na it is most likely that the finals is going to be on the 14th, nakita naman natin na nagbago yon and naging 28 na nga. So, mark your calendars. I don't have a definitive na ticketing prices as of the moment, but make sure na yung budget na nilaan nyo last year would probably be around the same figures din yung gagastusin nyo for Binibining Pilipinas later on. I would assume na yung VIP ng area would be around the 5,000 to 10,000 na price point. So hindi na lalayo doon sa doon sa doon sa ticket prices natin last year. Okay, so before I continue yung dito sa mga updates, let's mangumusta sa ating mga mga dumating na mga viewers. We have sabi ni Rod Vinfiel, good evening po sir. Michelle Rai is also here. Sabi niya, hello po. Ping is greeting everyone. Magandang gabi. Thank you, Roscoe, for for the generosity again. Salamat for always supporting us in our channel. Good evening from the Philippines. I know it's morning there in Guam. I hope na wala kang schedule ngayon sa sa work at manamnam mo yung ating pa-live stream ngayon because I know that you're a very busy na person. Ayan. Roscoe, bakit nga pala sa sa chat is ang nakalagay is yung full name mo. It's not Roscoe. Anyway, nice, nice seeing you here. Dominic Martin Mission. Hi, Sir Jason. Finally able to catch you. Watching from Perth, Australia. Hello, good evening from the Philippines. Dominic, I hope na na hindi masyado inconvenience yung schedule natin for today diyan sa Australia. I hope na ma-enjoy mo itong pa-live stream natin today. Okay? Mark Gonzalez, sabi niya, good evening, Sir Jason. Nakahabol sa live stream while on vacation here in rainy Singapore. Hello! Buti ka pa na nakabakasyon ka because on my end, hindi pa ako pwedeng magbakasyon because I still have some work to do up until next week because it's the submission of grades for one of the schools where I teach in. We just finished yung finals week namin last week. Medyo in the coming days, medyo ngaragan when it comes to calculation of grades, submission of grades, preparations before the exams that will happen after the holiday break on April 6 to 8 or 9. I think pati 10, it's a national holiday because it's araw ng kagitingan. So here in the Philippines, we will be having like a 4 or 5 day na long weekend. So samantalahin nyo for everyone who is working na yung bakasyon na yon, makauwi kayo ng probinsya, have time with your friends, family, because bihira yung ganun na nag-align yung mga holidays na magkakasunod-sunod together. Okay. Will Garcia is here. Hi, sir. Hi, good evening, Will Garcia. Same to you as well, Jeff Tuna. Hello, how are you? I hope na hindi masyado inconvenience na Sabado na yung ating main live stream day para hindi tayo sumabay doon sa pa-live ni Natita. Because that has always been yung conundrum natin because we don't want na sumagasa tayo doon sa schedule ng pa-live stream ni Tita, and so that maybe in the future kapag nag-align yung mga yung mga schedules namin, maka-collab kami for an episode, and I am hoping for that kasi alam kong hinihingi din nyo sa amin yan ni Tita. Ayan. Will Garcia, sabi niya, hi Sir Jason, pa-shoutout naman from Los Baños, Laguna. Hello from Sashes&Scripts, sa lahat ng nanonood na taga Los Baños ngayon, especially to Will Garcia, and I hope na sana one of these days makarating ako ng Laguna because gusto kong makita yung embroidery niyo na na traditions, because if there will come a time in one of my schools na we are going to showcase yung talents naming mga teachers, I hope to highlight yung embroidery traditions natin sa Laguna. Ayan. Syempre, na-off track na naman ako sa usapan. Will Garcia is asking, ask mo na lang later, ano ba yung news regarding Esther Swan's resignation? Kasi parang lumalabas sa isang post ng tita sa pageantry na nakuryente daw sa news si AG. Paki-clarify naman. I will take note of that. Pag-uusapan natin yan later because there are some things, insights na was provided to me. Alam niyo naman na may mga friends tayo sa New York, 'di ba? So, yung mga friends natin sa New York, sila yung madalas na nagbibigay sa atin ng mga insider na chichi. And we will try to lay out what we know without it looking like chismis lang siya. Kasi medyo parang may hindi magandang nangyayari or hindi may mga awkwardness na nangyayari doon sa dun sa headquarters na affecting yung performances and yung work ng mga original na team. So, let's unpack that later on. Unahin na muna natin yung mga nakalista sa ating agenda, okay? But I will be making sure na itatakal natin yan. Okay? Justoni Tino says, hello, thank you for the live watching from Canada. Hello sa inyo diyan, Justoni. I hope na na masarap pa rin ang tawag ito, ang mga maple syrup nyo diyan at sana may magregalo sa atin ng ganun dito. Ayan. Where else? Thank you again for this session. Sabi ni Jester PL, good evening to everyone. Okay. So, let's continue with our updates. Unahin na muna natin yung mga updates natin on Binibining Pilipinas because for sure, ito yung mga need to know na mga updates. Okay, the Binibining Pilipinas candidates have already done their national costume shoot. That was done around 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. And isa yun sa mga i-release na mga glam shots coming after the Holy Week break. So, okay. The Binibining Pilipinas girls, as I was saying, are going to have a Holy Week break this coming week. I think they still have some schedules or sponsor or training schedules with some of their sponsors by around Monday or Tuesday. But after that, magkakaroon sila ng break for the Holy Week. And then they will come back siguro mga 5 days later and start with their public na mga appearances, mga public na mga events. So asahan natin na magkakaroon ng glam shot na reveal, magkakaroon ng mga schedule na events for their national costume na exhibit. And ano pa ba? What I've heard so far with regards to the exhibits ng kanilang glam shot and national costume is that yung AR na augmented reality na technology that they have used in the past will only now be reserved for their national costume na mga exhibits. So yung glam shot na last year naging AR siya, hindi siya mangyayari ngayong taon na to, but it's going to be reserved for the national costume exhibit later on. And then magkakaroon din sila ng La Union na trip later on where they will be shooting yung OBB shoot nila, opening billboard na shoot nila. And if I'm not mistaken, they will be wearing mga swimsuits for that OBB, for that trip. I am not sure kung dadalhin nila yung kanilang mga national costumes sa La Union for another series of shoots, but I am hoping na because maraming historical sites and areas sa La Union, especially yung mga traditional na mga houses and yung mga very Hispanic na mga houses, sana magkaroon sila ng opportunity to shoot there. Especially because nagandahan tayo doon sa shoot nila ng kanilang national costumes in Las Casas de Alcazar last year. So I am hoping na this time around they would be given that opportunity to showcase talaga yung traditional na na sitio in La Union, because it gives such cultural meaning at hindi yung typical na tawag ito, typical na opening billboard yung mangyayari. So I am hoping na there is an opportunity for them to shoot their national costume there, and if not, then at least we can rely on the fact that they will be having an out of town na activity at hindi yung kulob lang sila dito sa Metro Manila. I also have an update with regards to yung kanilang discussions with regards to the Miss Intercontinental na franchise. Sige, pag-usapan natin yan kasi I think that has been for the longest time like a drawn out conversation na is it with them, is it with Mutya, is it with whoever. Here's the thing. Nung inaward siya sa Mutya ng Pilipinas, I think nagulat yung pamunuan ng Binibining Pilipinas because they are aware that they still have a contract. Miss Intercontinental organization still have a contract with Binibining Pilipinas. Ayun, this is according to insiders, and I cannot reveal who the insider is as of this moment, but these are very reliable people who work within the organization. And kapag sila ang nagsabi, there is gravitas, there is truth in it. Kasi ano ba ang point nila if magsisinungaling sila na meron pa silang kontrata na is still legal up until I think the year that was mentioned was up until the year 2026. So that's essentially around 4 years, including this year na franchise. So kung meron pang contract that is still in effect, hindi basta-basta pwedeng i-award ng Miss Intercontinental sa Mutya yung franchise unless there is a rule breaking or there is a clause in the contract that was broken by Binibining Pilipinas. However, from what I've been told, the Binibining Pilipinas organization is communicating with the Miss Intercontinental na organization to iron things out. Para mapag-usapan ito ng maayos at hindi siya yung umabot sa punto na magkakaroon ng mga legal na steps to be taken to ensure naman yung interest nung each individual na parties. So knowing that how professional Binibining Pilipinas organization is, I am sure that BPCI are exhausting all efforts to iron things out and to make this this discussion something na fruitful for both organizations towards the end. Because I think that if there is a legal agreement and document that says that they still have several years with the organization, hindi naman magsasalita basta-basta ang BPCI or hindi naman sila basta-bastang magka-cut off ng relationship with these organizations unless these organizations find that there is a breach in contract. So I think it is an ongoing situation right now. I believe that if there is still legal documents and agreements in place, I do hope that each party will, each party will stick to what is agreed upon. na sana respetuhin kung ano yung napirmahang kontrata. That way, ipakita natin na kaya natin na maging professional sa larangang ito. Because I think that any contract, a verbal agreement is a transfer of trust between two individuals or two organizations. And I think this is something na kinakailangan na i-iron out ng both organizations nang hindi naman madamay ang mutya ng Pilipinas. Because from my standpoint, kapag hindi naayos ng Miss Intercontinental yung kanilang contract with Binibining Pilipinas at inaward nila sa mutya ng Pilipinas yung franchise without ironing out the legalities of leaving one organization to another. Paano kung magsampa ng kaso ang Binibining Pilipinas and mag-cease and desist sila na nasa amin pa yung franchise, nasa amin pa yung legal na franchise because we still have legal documents na nagpapatunay na nasa amin pa yung yung kontrata with the Miss Intercontinental na organization. Magkakaroon ngayon ng halting on the part ng mutya ng Pilipinas because they cannot use the local title hanggat na kay Binibining Pilipinas pa yung franchise. So, this is a very messy na situation na dapat ang Miss Intercontinental na organization ang mag-ayos nito at hindi yung out of whims magpalipat-lipat sila ng organization. They really need to make sure that their move is legal. Kasi kung meron silang binibreak na kasunduan, kausapan at it is in black and white, sila yung mapapahamak. Sila yung magmumukhang masama. Okay? And knowing that part of how messy this situation is, ako, I still stand on my initial thoughts that if ayaw na ng Intercon sa'yo, I would rather have Binibining Pilipinas na just let go of this problematic na franchise. Kasi on my end, I think that Binibining Pilipinas does not need to prove itself because from the time that BPCI held the Miss Intercontinental na title, the franchise rather, wala sa mga candidates natin ang pumalakpak. And I think that is a testament to the quality of candidates, the quality of Binibinis that Binibining Pilipinas sends to Miss Intercontinental. So they need to be really, spectacular in order for them to not break a winning streak. Dahil from the time that Chris Tiffany Hanson competed down to Gabby Pasiano competed in Egypt last year, kumorona tayo ng 2 beses. We had runners-up at around like 3 or 4 na runners-up throughout that whole Binibining Pilipinas run and 2 or 3 na semifinals na placement. So ibig sabihin, Binibining Pilipinas gave them, the creme de la creme of candidates that they can that can compete into the Intercon na competition. So kumbaga on Binibining Pilipinas, and they were able to lift up yung image ng Miss Intercontinental, not only here in the Philippines but because of the clout that Binibining Pilipinas has with the fans. Altogether, the fans and BPCI raised the level up yung prestige and image ng Miss Intercontinental. And I think it would be a great opportunity for Miss Intercontinental to pay back yung nagawa ng Binibining Pilipinas para pabamuhin yung pangalan nila. So I think that I am on that wavelength na if ever man na ayaw na talaga ng Intercon sa kanila, then ayusin nila yung pag-alis nila. Para hindi naman sila magmukhang ng gamit lang for clout because malaki din naman kasi ang naging pakinabang nila sa Binibini eh. If it weren't for Binibini spotlighting yung mga titles that they have and really elevating these titles up, whether it's Miss Grand International, Miss Intercontinental, or Miss Globe, Binibining Pilipinas, through its very powerful na brand and image, is able to lift this international competitions in terms of prestige and image. So I think there is an opportunity for Intercon there to step up and to show professionalism. If they don't want to honor yung existing legal contract nila with Binibining Pilipinas, then they should buy the contract out. Just so that we have a clean break. That way, hindi rin napapahamak yung mutya ng Pilipinas because they already had a press con regarding that. So, alam niyo yun, this is an opportunity for people to step up and be professional. Yun lang. I think that the Binibining Pilipinas has as I know, nakita nyo naman doon sa paano sila nakipag-deal sa mga issues in the past that they wait out before they say or release an official statement. And magre-release lang sila ng official statement kapag dire na yung situation. So I think that plays on to the prestige ng Binibining Pilipinas name that they try to be as professional as pageants can go. And that is a testament to the fact that BPCI has been through a lot within its almost 60 years na existence. So, yun lang. I do hope that maayos ito, mabigyan ng pagkakataon to have a clean break if Miss Intercon really wants to have a clean break. Okay. Basa muna tayo ng mga comments, okay? Before we continue. Wait. Where are we? Okay, Brian, sabi niya, hello sir, watching from Melbourne. Hello there, mate. I don't know how to create a Australian accent, so pasensya na. Kumusta? I hope na na maayos kayo dyan and hindi ganun kainit dyan ngayon kasi dito sa Pilipinas nanonood sana sa balat yung sinag ng araw at ang hapdi sa balat. It's very hot in here, humid. There are some areas na medyo mahangin sa hapon at sa tanghali, but in general the atmosphere here is very hot and humid. Rowan Santa Maria, bonjour Sir Jason. I'm looking forward to hear what you will unpack for us today. Okay, mamaya pag-uusapan natin yung medyo sensitive. Unahin na muna natin itong mga updates on Binibining Pilipinas. Rodin Fiel, I'm back. Lumipat ako sa computer ko. I'm looking forward sa mga ilalabas ng BBP, especially the national costume. Also, I want to hear your thoughts regarding Esther Swan's resignation. Later na, si Mama Esther. Tapusin muna natin itong mga updates, okay? Will Garcia, Sir Jason, doon sa live stream ng BBP, nung talent presentation, di pa rin maayos yung audio, kaya tuloy may mga talents na mukhang nasabotahe. Buti fini-feature mo sa mga stories mo yung mga talents nila. Actually, Will, there are a couple or 3 girls that I really felt bad na ako yung parang nagalit, nagtampo because yung mic nila hindi gumana on certain critical na moments. And I really felt bad for the girls that nangyari yun sa kanila. I don't know. I'm not a technical person. I don't have any knowledge on technical and sound issues. I'm not a sound engineer, so wala akong masabi on the technical side. But I do hope na sana nagkaroon muna sila ng dry run. If ever man na may dry run sila, sana naayos doon pa lang sa dry run yung mga issues na ito. Because it really, I really felt bad, especially for Gianna, because after the talent na show, I hung around a bit. May mga kinausap ako ng mga tao within the organization. mga tao na may alam sa loob, kilala sa loob, took some of their thoughts, opinions on, the entire thing. And then, habang pauwi ako, nakita ko si Jana doon sa likod ng Kia Theater, doon sa may Burger King. And I dropped by and said hi. And I really felt that Gianna Llanes felt bad doon sa nangyari sa kanya during the talent na competition, because pinaghandaan niya talaga. She really practiced. She actually had ang backing niya is ABS-CBN mga members ng ABS-CBN Philharmonic Orchestra. So ganun na lang kabigat yung preparations niya for the talent. And buti na lang, friends kami ni Mars Franz. Shout out kay Mars Franz. Salamat, Mars, because when sinabi niya na he was able to record yung rehearsals nila, I asked for the video and I told him, Mars, ang gagawin ko dito, I am going to splice yung audio nung rehearsals doon sa video that we took during the talent show. And of course, I wanted to make sure na I credit the proper people. And sa bait ni Mars Franz, binigyan niya ako ng kopya nung nung rehearsal video. And gano'n na lang yung kabait yung mga friends natin on the media, pageant media, na nagtutulungan kami. And I love that kind of camaraderie amongst media people, that they are willing to share their materials to others. So shout out, kudos, and maraming salamat, Mars, for that help, because I wanted to make Gianna feel a little bit better doon sa kanyang performance, because she was beating herself up. And I was telling her na, girl, hindi mo kasalanan yun. Things happen, and don't beat yourself up for things that are not within your control. And what I did to help out yung kanyang mood, malift yung kanyang mood, is to gift her with an opportunity to see kung ano sana yung naging kinalabasan ng kanyang talent performance had it went on through a perfect na situation na walang issue on the microphone. So ang ginawa ko, yung audio nung rehearsals, nilapat ko doon sa performance niya on the actual na evening. And I think it would have been great to see a talent na ganon, because hindi madalas na may nakikita tayong mga tao na mga binibini na nagpe-perform using musical instruments na hindi madalas natin nakikita, like the flute, the violin, the kulintang, and all of these other musical instruments na would have lifted yung image ng mga binibinis, not just yung traditional na sing and dance na routine. And I think I am glad that mayroon akong pang mga videos na unti-unting nilalabas on our YouTube channel and on Facebook, na pwedeng gamitin during the entire talent show, na pwedeng i-release to for everyone to enjoy. So there, I do hope na sana yung mga issues na ganito ma-minimize na, because this has been a perennial problem with local pageants, whether it's Binibini, Miss World Philippines, or MUP, na sana medyo iangat natin on the technical side yung production. Okay? Nasaan na ba tayo? I think Sir Jason, doon sa live stream ng okay, I think I've read na yung kay Will Garcia. Ping, sabi niya, Sir Jason, ano ang reason bakit napunta sa Mutya ang Intercon? Actually, Ping, ang Intercon, before Binibining Pilipinas took over the franchise, is originally handled by Mutya. If I'm not mistaken, like from the 1970s or 1980s pa, pag-aari na ng mutya ng Pilipinas yung franchise ng Miss Intercontinental. And I think there were some years between the 2000s and the 90s na nagkaroon ng inconsistency kung sino yung magpapadala or hindi consistent yung pageant itself, yung international na pageant itself. Now, ever since Binibini took over yung franchise in 2014 and we had Tiffany Hanson competed there. Very consistent yung placement natin because when it was still handled by Mutya, parang never tayong kumorona during that time. It's been like 50 plus years yung history ng Miss Intercontinental, but we only started placing on a regular basis starting in 2014. And then in 2018, nanalo nga tayo courtesy of Karen Gallman, and then again with Cindy Faye Obenita in 2021. So, I think yung franchise na yon has been traditionally pag-aari ng mutya. Nung lumipat ang Intercon sa Binibini, doon lang naman nagkaroon ng mas malaking recognition dun sa pageant na nabigyan siya ng importansya sa mga pageant fans because it was under Binibini. So, ngayon at gusto nilang bumalik sa gustong bumalik ang Intercon sa mutya, then I would have hoped that the Miss Intercontinental organization would have ironed out yung kanilang exit. Make sure na walang existing contract pa na nakabinbin so that hindi sila masabit. At hindi rin masabit yung mutya because there are people who are questioning now paano hindi nalaman ni Madam Cory na meron pang existing na contract si Mutya kay Binibini. So, hindi natin alam lahat ng mga nangyayari so far. We only have, the insider na information from the Binibini side. So, I'm hoping na ang Intercon magpaka-professional naman na ayusin to dahil sila yung sila yung nagdala ng gulo. So, sila dapat ang mag-ayos ng gulo. Okay. Sabi ni Rod Winfield, 2 crowns, Karen Gallman and Cindy, Faye Obenita, Chris Hanson is second runner-up, first runner-up si Christy McGarry and Katarina Rodriguez. Ayan. Travel Junkie is saying, agree, Intercon committed a breach of contract and settle amicably but looks like they don't want to pay back BPCI. Kung ganun yung mangyayari, then malaking gulo to. Sana maisip ng Intercon na ayusin nila. Kasi if push comes to shove, ang Binibining Pilipinas, sana naman magpakita ng pangil this time, 'di ba? They have been too, I don't wanna say nice, but naging masyado silang lax sa mga franchises na kung minsan nagagamit na lang sila. So, this time around, magpakita kayo ng ngipin para hindi naman kayo parating inaabuso na lang. Diba? Dusty Miller says, hello! There. Forever na natin magiging catchphrase yung hello na yan. I think, hindi na yan mawawala sa bokabularyo ng pageantry. So, pagpasensyahan nyo na kasi it's going to be something na parati nating gagamitin over and over. Roscoe says, Intercontinental was always highly valued since 2014. They were the third highest crown, MUP, BBP International, and then BBP Intercontinental. Never was there a girl who was not worthy who was crowned. I think there was a time, I think in the 2016 Roscoe, na parang fourth crown yung relegated sa Intercon because of supranational. I think na-elevate ang Supra simply because of Mutya winning in 2013. Agree ako sa sinabi dito ni Will Garcia na I suggest BVP to let go of Intercon if ayaw na talaga ng Intercon sa kanila, di naman sila kawalan. continuation ng comment ni Roscoe is only in 27 when Intercontinental got bumped in the lineup is when Super was recognized as a Big Five. Intercontinental definitely reaped a heaping load of exposure and success since it was under BPCI. I agree din naman. Nakinabang naman talaga ang Intercon sa Binibining Pilipinas, and I hope na sana tumanaw din ng utang na loob ang Intercon because they wouldn't enjoy yung prestige had it not be for Binibining Pilipinas. And the same thing din naman sana for Supranational, na sana they would have how to say this, paano ko sasabihin to, na they would have treated yung mga candidates natin better dahil ang ganda nung mga track record ng mga candidates that we sent to Supra. I don't think na Supra would enjoy yung kanilang prestige had it not Binibining Pilipinas lifted yung image and yung brand ng Supra. So, sana naman hindi sila makarma kasi 'di ba? Maganda sanang opportunity ang Supra na lumevel up among the Big Four. However, because of Supra not having a really social cause, a really important social cause na they can na pwede nilang pangatawanan, na pwede nilang ariin, hindi sila hindi umaangat yung respeto, yung level ng respeto ng mga pageant fans sa kanila dahil they will always come off as a how to say, ayoko sabihin copycat, but rather a secondary alternative to the Alpha 4. Ayun yung masaklap doon na parang pwede ka namang igawing Big Five, pero wala kang ipinapakitang relevance or social cause that you champion, that you stand for. It's very devoid of personality, and it doesn't know what value it tries to show. Unlike Miss Earth or Miss International or Miss World or Miss Universe na may kanya-kanyang personality yung mga pageants na ito, ang Supra parang ganda lang ang meron, and then after that wala masyado on the personality, on the what are its core essence, ano yung core values niya, ano yung personality ng brand, at ano yung mga attributes that you would associate with the brand. And I think yun yung area na hindi ganun kalinis or hindi ganun ka-exposed when it comes to the supranational na brand. So parang ganun din yung problema ng Intercontinental. They both, have issues that kinakailangan nilang ayusin with in terms of their branding. Nasaan na ba tayo? Si Will Garcia, aliw ako doon sa pagmamarching band ng Binibining Pilipinas Talent Show. Unfortunately, isa rin siya sa mga nabiktima ng pangit na audio sa live stream. Yes, that is Charmaine Magdasok. Siya yung nagbaton twirling with the banda in her talent na round. And ang gusto ko doon sa Binibining Pilipinas na talent show was that it was a hodgepodge. Kumbaga para siyang halo-halo ng talents and it comes from different na mga backgrounds, perspectives. I like the fact that there was a diversity of talent na hindi lang sumasayaw but may mga spoken word na talent, may mga nagpinta, may mga tumugtog ng mga traditional na mga Filipino instruments like the kulintang. I think Angelo Baro, aside from her spoken word na poetry reading na talent, she also played the kulintang. I think there's one more, Juvel, Binibini number 1, danced to Sarah Geronimo Stala. And then we also had Jana Llanes, who performed the flute. We have, oh my God, nakakalimutan ko na yung mga iba. Sino pa ba yung mga ibang nag-perform? I think we also have, Lyra Punsalan, who danced, and then, if I'm not mistaken, I think she danced the Pangalay. I am not sure kasi hindi ko masyado kabisado na yung mga ibang mga dances from Mindanao, but I am sure na yung kanyang performance was on the Kulintang. And pag-usapan since na pag-uusapan na rin natin yung yung tawag ito yung talent, no. Let me just give you a rundown doon sa last point na gusto kong i-discuss with regards to the Binibining Pilipinas updates before we move on. Kasi I have with me a list of like 6 na na mga talents na really captured my attention and gave me a very enjoying experience during the talent night. Of course, unahin natin dyan si Rasha Cortez Alenzi, who I think blew the night off with her performance of Adele's Rolling in the Deep na song. Alam natin, when you attempt an Adele song, you have to be really very talented or really drunk. It's either may talent ka or lasing ka kung gusto mong kantahin si Adele, kasi ganun kahirap yung mga kanta ni Adele na ibirit, because buo yung boses niya, tapos may mga moments na lumalakas yung modulation na I've been told na parang version ni KZ Tandigan yung kanta na nung kanta yung pinorform ni Rasha. So doble hirap yon, because kilala naman natin na si KZ Tandigan magaling sa vocal calisthenics. And then on my list is also si Gianna Llanes, because it's very unique yung kanyang talent. I just hope nga na ayos yung kanyang audio para hindi naging ganun yung kinalabasan ng kanyang talent performance, because it would have been a treat to find someone who with a very classical na talent. And then I also have Zea Nestle Pala. And the reason why I put her in my list, because sa lahat ng mga nagsayaw, siya yung may level of difficulty yung kanyang choreography, because she danced the dance sport version of the salsa. No, it's not salsa, it's samba, because it's Brazilian. Okay. The difference between the samba versus the dance sport na samba is that may technique sa paa na kinakailangan mong mahuli. And yung technique na yon ipinakita ni Zea in her performance. She's not a dance sport na professional. We can see that in her performance. But it's close enough na kapag hinasa mo yung talent niya, pwede siyang maging dance sport na athlete. And I think yung the fact that on point yung pitik ng paa niya, especially on the magalenha na portion ng kanyang performance. I think it only shows yung level of talent na meron siya sa pagsasayaw. And in fact, I was thinking na, oh my God, kung buhay yung easy dancing ni na Charlene Gonzalez at ni na G-Ton na program noon in the 90s at buhay siya ngayon, I think Zea will be comfortable there dancing among the guests of that show. Of course, hindi mawawala doon sa listahan ko yung performance ni Lyra Punsalan, who what got me with her performance is actually not just the fact that nagsayaw siya. I think neglectable kahit na hindi siya nagsayaw, buo pa rin yung kanyang talent performance. What I really loved about her performance is yung pagkukulintang niya followed by yung accompaniment niya with very young boys on the drums and on the gong. And what really made me smile about her performance is the fact that may mga kabataan pa pala na still interested with our traditional music, our traditional instruments, and that that transference of culture is something that I am really happy about, because what I see nowadays is that we are more likely to consume P-pop, K-pop, or westernized form of music without appreciating the traditional forms of music that we have on our own. And nakikita ko kasi sa generation na ito ngayon is that there is a lack of understanding of our traditions, especially on the music na part. And I do hope that in the future, we are able to, to correct that and appreciate more of our, traditions and our history. The next thing is we have, and the next person on my list is actually Eliza Diazona. Love the fact that she sang, and I'm not sure if it's the audio or what, but hindi ganun kapulido yung performance. I find it a little bit pitchy, but at the same time, I'm thinking na maybe hindi niya naririnig yung accompaniment ng kanyang music, or masyadong malakas doon sa area ko yung background na hindi ko naririnig kung maayos yung performance niya ng kanta. However, I am more likely to believe na kaya niyang kumanta because somebody in the audience told me na hindi niya siguro naririnig yung sarili niya while she's singing, because there are parts na she hits the notes very well, pero may mga parts na parang nagfa-flatten yung kanyang performance. So maybe it has something to do with the fact that she can't hear herself. And kung nag-acoustic siya, I think she would have done better. Kasi yung timbre ng boses niya malamig sa pandinig, and I think her talent was really much better served at an acoustic na performance. Okay, and then I also have two more on my list. Si Aliyah Estores, who danced the wait, let me see. Si Nakiki. Okay, let me just read yung ano. It's an interpretation of the dance na si Nakiki. It's a folk dance from Albay, and ang sabi dito is that it's pretty much like a courtship na dance based on the rooster and the hen. And yun yung I'm really I really appreciate about this talent na performance, kasi ang ganda ng kwento behind the dance. And I think I love the fact that the more culture that is being shown doon sa talent night allows us to appreciate our culture much better, especially because this is Binibining Pilipinas. I don't have anything against yung mga nagmo-modern dance or nagsasayaw ng mga hip-hop ganyan, but for me it's a personal preference. I have this bias towards candidates who perform yung mga traditional na mga sayaw at tugtog natin, because it really exposes us doon sa kultura natin. And I've been saying this over and over again in the past, that you cannot hope to represent a country if you do not understand its culture, if you do not embrace its special quirks and idiosyncrasies, if you don't understand the language, or you don't appreciate the culture and traditions, and even the food and music and language of that country. So yung mga talent na I'm really appreciating as of this moment are those that push our culture at the forefront. Also in my list is Angelo Baro, who did a spoken word na poetry, and at the same time perform ng kulintang. And what I really like about that performance is yung nag-blindfold siya at kaya niyang tumugtog simply by just knowing where the placement of the individual gongs are in the kulintang. I think that was a great thing to do. Okay, pasa na muna tayo ng mga additional comments and then move on na tayo sa susunod na topic. Where are we? Nasaan na tayo? Ah, sabi ni Zaldi Paulino, nag-announce na po yata yung mutya ng Pilipinas na nasa kanila na po ata yung Miss Intercontinental. Baka yung Miss Asia Pacific nasa binibini na. Nag-swap sila ng Miss Intercontinental. Correct me if I'm wrong po. I don't have any word on that because ang Miss Asia Pacific International, inconsistent sila. They're tawag ito, hindi regular yung kanilang pageant, and hindi magandang tignan yung ganon na hindi ka here today, gone tomorrow ka when it comes to your pageant. So, kung consistent sana ang Miss Asia Pacific, baka siguro kinuha siya ng Binibining Pilipinas if they still have their pageant. So, let's see. Kasi hindi naman natin masabi kung nakanino na ba talaga yung Miss Intercontinental na franchise. Rodlin Fiel, sino po ba sir yung prod ng BBP this year? I don't know lang. IDK, I don't know lang ang problema ng mga national pageants. Dahil sila may problema sa tech, one way or another. I am not sure kung sino yung nag-produce ng talent. Kasi usually dalawa yung production companies that BPCI is working with. Iba yung sa finals and iba yung sa sa ibang mga events ng Binibini. So I am not sure which of those two yung in charge sa talent night. I will get back with you on that kasi I need to see first doon sa roster kung sino yung nag-production this year. Okay, nasaan na tayo? The Beauty Critic. Love you, Jason Cappuccino. You're always great in analyzing pageants. I do hope so. The Beauty Critic, because I like to interpret yung mga what's going on, what are the possibilities of where pageants are leaning towards to. So, I like to analyze, and sometimes I overthink things. Zaldi Polino, may chance po ba si Gianna Llanes sa BBP 2023? Of course naman. I think she has a fair chance. You have to remember, Gianna is a very well-spoken na candidate. In fact, hindi siya nalalayo dun sa level ni Samantha Panlilio, ni Catriona Gray, ni pangalan nito, ni Karen Gallman when it comes to speaking ability. So, let's see. Kasi marami pang mga activities na mangyayari dyan na kung saan magpapasiklaban ng mga candidates. Another girl that I am looking at currently na magaling kumuda is of course Kiara J.L. Gregorio, being a law na graduate, plus she's also taking masters in international law. So medyo mabibigat yung resume nila. So let's wait and see kung sino pa yung mga girls na magi-step up when it comes to comm skills. John Snow 79, hi Jason. Ano sa tingin mo susunod kay Esther? Si Paula S ba? Or si Amy? Parang ramdam na talaga pagbabago sa balita na paalis na si Esther. I will be tackling that a little bit later. Nasaan na tayo? Rodvin Fiel, actually sir, maraming mga kumanta na pitchy, nawawala sa tono, posible nga na walang floor monitor dun sa yung mga ladies. Another factor pa siguro na yung breathing hindi pulido, unlike Isabella David. Pwede. I am now looking at different perspectives with regards to that kasi hindi lang isa o dalawa yung pitchy yung kanilang tono. So I do hope na in the future maayos ito dahil sayang yung opportunities na magpakitang gilas yung mga girls because they really brought their A game. I am amazed at the diversity of their talents. Hindi siya katulad nung dati na sa atrium lang o sa activity center lang ng Farmers Plaza yung talent na competition, and then may mga iba pang mga nagtatalent noon na just for performance sake nagtatalent even if hindi naman ganun kapulido yung talent nila. So this time around, production value in terms of actual talent, performance, nagpapakitang gilas ng mga binibinis. Nasaan na tayo? Hello the universe. I am so late. May papalit ba sa makeup sponsor ng Binibini? Ever Bilena is still their makeup sponsor. Also, will Moist Dayan still up? That I am not sure. I think ang kontrata ng Moist Dayan is still active with the reigning Binibining Pilipinas. I am not sure doon sa tawag nito, doon sa contract nila with Binibining Pilipinas this year. Nasaan na tayo? BPCI should consider getting the Miss World franchise by hook or by crook to stay afloat. Tignan natin. I am not really a fan of Miss World. So, parang naumay na ang mga Filipino sa Miss World na pageant. The pageant itself. I think yung highway robbery noong 2016 hindi natin makakalimutan. So, kasi ang dami ng pagkakataon na parang feeling ng mga pageant fans, ninakawan tayo ng oportunidad na manalo mula kay Evangeline Pascual, mula kay Rufa Gutierrez, and several other na mga girls in the past. So, tignan natin. Baka naman siguro in the next 5-10 years, mas magiging open na ang mga Filipino fans when it comes to the Miss World na franchise. Okay. Here is a question from Agent James 007. True po ba na nabili na ng Binibining Pilipinas? Charities Incorporated, ang Miss Asia Pacific, at added crown na ito sa Binibining Pilipinas. I haven't heard if nabili nila yung franchise or nabili nila yung pageant. I have heard in the past that they were looking at several mga pageants that they would add into their roster. And Miss Asia Pacific International nga yung isa sa mga mga pageants na nila na tinitignan nila if they want to have it, to have it in their roster. However, if nabili nila yung mismong franchise or nabili nila yung mismong pageant, yun ang hindi ko alam. And I do hope na if bibili man sila ng isang international pageant at magkaroon sila ng international pageant of their own, I just hope that they won't be able to become like Miss Universe na masyadong dikit yung pageant systems nila na kinakailangan talaga may separation ng sinong nagmamanage ng international at saka sa local. I think yun yung gusto kong mangyari kasi especially with Miss Philippines Earth na napapabayaan yung Miss Philippines Earth versus the Miss Earth na pageant. Parang sana na lang ibenta na lang ng MPE yung franchise ng Miss Philippines Earth sa Binibining Pilipinas or some other organization in order for them to be to be successful kasi awang-awa ako doon sa finals ng Miss Philippines Earth last year na parang inuulan sila and it really hindi talaga nakakaangat ng prestige nung local na Miss Philippines Earth natin na pageant. Yun yung ayaw kong mangyari if ever Binibining Pilipinas would have an international competition of their own na may isa na papabayaan. So, ayun. Hello the universe. Sabi niya, baka MIC will allow 2 Philippine reps sa Intercon. Isa sa Binibini, isa sa Mutya. And we all know what would be the result. Ayoko naman ng ganon. Parang hindi naman siya maganda tignan. Agent James 007 is saying, maganda po, din po magpunta ang Reyna Hispano-Americano. Shouldn't it be Reyna Hispano-Americana sa Binibining Pilipinas because May of Madam Stella at may connection siya sa Colombian Embassy dito sa Pilipinas. Love you po, Sir Jason. Ang alam ko, ang RHA is still under ALV. So, wag na natin galawin yung mga established na mga franchise na yon. Rodwin Fiel, sad lang, no? Kasi sa mga titles ng BBP, walang heavy sa oratory skills. Sa MI kasi prepared speech naman yun. Sa MG, di rin naman heavy ang Q&A. Daniel P. Yuzon Jr., ang lakas maka-90s nung easy dancing, Sir Jason. Every Sunday yun with the VIP dancers. So, kung natatandaan mo siya, you get my point. Mga batang 80s, 90s na aalala yun for sure. Rodney Fliel, naaalala ko yung BBP 2018 sa activity area tapos may pa-dog trick si Michelle Gumabaw. Ha ha ha. Joshua Mendoza Berakwit, not pageant related, but I admire your wide array of vocabulary, Sir Jason. Lakas maka-alta, which makes pageant talks a level up. No bias, but you and Tita L are my go-to personalities in pageant talks. Thank you, Joshua. Nakakataba ng puso na you appreciate the effort that we give in our live streams. Rodin Fiel, in fairness, may proper auditorium ang BBP for talent show. I think since 2021. Di ko maalala ng 2019 edition kasi I think 2019 edition it's sa may sa may Farmers Plaza, sa may atrium, doon sa may activity area. I think tama ka, it was starting 2020 na edition or 2021 kasi na-postpone yung 2020. Na nasa mismong New Frontier Theater na yung talent na show. I hope so, sana madagdagan yung crowns ng, sabi ni Zaldi Polino, I hope so, na sana madagdagan pa yung crowns ng Binibining Pilipinas 2023 para yung pwedeng ilaban sa international stage, di po masayang kasi lahat sila magaganda at makuda. Actually, pansin ko din yan, maraming makuda and maraming magaling magsalita sa batch na ito. I would say si Kiara, si Kiara, si Gianna, given na yan. Laking abroad at aral abroad yung mga yan. So, it's safe to say na they can communicate well. I think si Miriam Hipolito is another one na magaling din magsalita. Sofia Galvez is another one na I feel has, very good command of the English language. And then we have several other girls like Trisha Martinez, of course, si Ana Valencia Lacrini. And then we also have several other girls na I think sa dami nila na makukuda despite the fact na very unknown karamihan sa kanila. Maraming magagaling magsalita. From the top of my head, yun yung pala yung mga narinig ko na magsalita ng maayos eh. And even yung kapatid ni Maha, si Jesselyn Salvador, she communicates well in English and in Tagalog. May laman siya kung magsalita. Sino pa ba yung mga girls na I think has really good communication skills? I think si Candy Vollinger, si Sandy Marilyn Vollinger, si Doktora, si candidate number 40, yung nag-aerial trapeze. She really speaks well. Yan, mapapatunayan ko yan kasi kasalamuha ko na siya in non-Binibining Pilipinas na activities. Nadinig ko na rin siyang magsalita. So, isa din siya dun sa mga makukuda this year. I think overall, this year sa Binibining Pilipinas, marami yung kayang makipag-communicate. Sa mga simple na mga interviews, kaya nilang kumuda. Okay. fan, sabi niya, bakit po kaya 2 days before lang nag-announce ang BBP ng talent competition? Pero buti naman hindi 1 hour late nag-start. Okay, from what I know is that it's supposed to be last week yung, or tama ba? Last week pa yung schedule ng talent show. Na-move back lang, I think, yung talent show. But aware ang mga candidates that they have to be prepared last week pa. So, ayun. Sabi ni Rodwin Fiel, sana nga MPE ang mapunta sa Binibining Pilipinas. Imagine, Binibining Pilipinas International, Binibining Pilipinas Earth, Binibining Pilipinas Globe. Pwede, di ba? Of course, pwede. I like that idea. Because I like the... Here's the thing. When it comes to Miss Philippines Earth, ang hirap ko siyang i-appreciate versus Miss Earth mismo. Because feeling ko talaga, napapabayaan ng todo ang Miss Philippines Earth. There is not an iota of glamour in the way that MPE at times is being held. Last year was really the worst na staging of Miss Philippines Earth for me. And I do hope na this year mag-level up sila. And I hope na sana mapag-isip-isip din ng Binibini at ng Miss Earth Organization na mag-partner with Miss Philippines Earth dahil sayang yung prestige na pwedeng ibahagi ng Binibini sa MPE had it been na hawak ng Binibini yung MPE na franchise. And nowadays that Binibini is focusing on more local na mga brands and designers, they're focusing on sustainable brands. Magkaroon ng tawag nito ng opening for potential Miss Earth, Miss Philippines Earth candidates ang Binibini so that may alignment doon sa advocacy ng BPCI versus ME. So sana unti-unti makarating tayo sa punto na ganon. Nasaan na tayo? Hello the Universe. Sana magka-passing of torch na national directorship sa Binibining Pilipinas. Kanino? Okay, GRF. Miss Universe is losing its prestige and reputation. European countries are gonna start pulling out as Miss U wasn't popular there. Now it's worse. Miss U should be returned to someone powerful from America. Again, the problem with Miss Universe in America or in the Northern Hemisphere, focusing on Europe and North America is that hindi na ganun kapalatable yung pageantry sa wider audience. So bakit nila ipagsisiksikan yung sarili nila doon? Change is coming and change is inevitable. Ito yung part na yon na masakit yung changes. Painful pa yung mga changes. But we're hoping na it would be for the better. As of this moment, lahat tayo parang ang pakiramdam natin, parang downfall yung mga nangyayari. But I do hope na hindi ganon kalugmok yung mangyayari sa Miss Universe. Now, speaking of Miss Universe, I just want to touch up on yung issue ng Miss Universe Vietnam. And hindi na makakakompete si Lethao Ni sa Miss Universe, which is yung old organization's first runner-up. So, heto kasi, during the old franchise ng Miss Universe Vietnam, si Miss Universe Vietnam automatically competes at Miss Universe. Her first runner-up competes in the next year. Now, at nagbago na yung pag-aari ng Miss Universe Vietnam, parang nagkaroon ng hope na sana mag-usap yung dalawang organizations na i-allow si Lethao Ni to compete at Miss Universe in El Salvador this year. Ang sabi nung luma na franchise owner na they reach out to the new na organization. However, hindi nag-reply back yung senior organization. Ang sabi naman ng new organization was that hindi sila they aren't able to meet eye to eye and agree on the management of Lithuania. Kaya minambuti na lang ng bagong organization to have a new pageant for the selection of the representative of Vietnam in Miss Universe later in El Salvador. I think nagkaroon din kasi ng factor yung hindi pinagbigyan ng lumang organization na ibigay yung Vietnamese name ng MUV doon sa bago. Kaya siguro the new organization felt slighted na hindi na lang niya pinagbigyan din yung kahilingan ng luma na ipadala si Lithuania doon sa Miss Universe later this year. So I think this is just a issue of the interests of each organization na hindi sila mag-meet eye to eye. On one hand, naiintindihan ko yung kagustuhan ng lumang organization na ituloy yung tradition. But on the other hand, yung bago, if it is stipulated in their contract that they should have a national contest every year, at every year silang pipili ng ipapadala sa Miss Universe, then they have no other choice but to comply to that rule from the Miss Universe organization. Okay? So I think it's just that hindi lang magkasundo yung dalawang organization with regards to that aspect. Okay, I'm just gonna take a few moments here to realign yung aking audio and camera. Saka yung aking electric fan kasi medyo tumabingi na naman siya. Okay? Give me a second. Okay, we're back. Now, usapan na natin yung katanungan nyo about Miss Esther Swan and what's going on. Okay, from what I know, ito full disclosure. It's been months ever since na-acquire ng JKN Global yung Miss Universe organization from Endeavor. And with every new ownership, there is a huge risk or a huge, possibility that the new organization would want things to be done differently. The difference lang between Donald Trump and Endeavor is that they are they are US-based na mga companies. And I think when na-acquire siya ng isang entity, isang organization that is based outside of the United States, doon tayo nagka-problema. And essentially, I know for a fact that there are plans from the get-go to bring the organization to Bangkok. And this has been something that JKN has discussed openly during her first week of acquisition ng Miss Universe. I think lahat tayo nakalimot that ultimately the goal of Miss Kun Ann is to move the headquarters of the Miss Universe organization from New York to Bangkok. Yun yung end goal. I think klaro tayo doon. Hindi pwede nating balikan yung mga live stream niya before, pwede nating balikan yung kanyang mga Facebook lives before, and yun yung kinakailangan natin na balikan in order for us to review ano ba talaga yung plano, because from the get-go yun yung mangyayari. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. Ngayon, at nakikita natin na meron ng president, meron ng CEO on top of the president, and now we have a new owner. And then si new owner nag-appoint ng several people to oversee the CEO and the and the president of the Miss Universe organization. Alam mong merong mga nangyayari sa organization that is going to change how it is managed, how the pageant is going to be run. And hindi nakakapagtaka that the first one to go is the director for franchising and franchising and licensing. Carlos, who has been in the organization for more than a decade, if I'm not mistaken, has been a long mainstay na siya yung nag-handle ng mga usapin when it comes to franchise. And then now we heard Esther Swan's exit. And there is a confusion a bit when it comes to the wording. On one hand, it was said that it was resign. On the other hand, pinapalabas na it was a retirement. So, yun muna tayo titigil. Doon tayo natin pag-usapan. Because here's the thing. As early as siguro second week or third week ng January, may mga nagiginig na ako from my amigas in New York. Mga chismosa akong amigas in New York na hindi smooth yung organization ngayon. These are, of course, rumors, alleged na mga reports. I cannot substantiate this, so treat it as a rumor at this point. Pero kung yun at yun ang naririnig mo, then there must be some iota of truth on that. What I've heard from these people was that hindi smooth yung transition. May rough patches. To the point na yung mga sinasabi nung bagong owner creates some sort of friction doon sa mga lumang national directors, to the point na kinakailangan yung mga tauhan na luma ng Miss Universe organization nagre-reach out doon sa mga lumang national directors at nag-apologize doon sa abrasiveness ng nangyayari. The mere fact na the mere fact na sa kanilang pamamalakad, hindi sila nagkakaroon ng parang unity of communication, of mindset. Alam mong mapapadali yung pag-aayos, pagbabago doon sa loob ng organization. And I think hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na maayos yung transition because all we see are nice photos. May mga public na mga personas yung mga yan. Intindihin natin, what you see in public is not necessarily the end all be all of what's actually going in the inside of the organization. So I think that kind of situation is just normal kasi hindi kayo pareho ng wavelength. If pareho kayo ng wavelength, then that would mean na iisang tao lang kayo and you're just a clone of each other. Maintindihan ko na may differences of perspective yan. However, it comes to a point where you have to balance out ano yung gustong mangyari ng owner versus yung situation sa taong ito, ano yung situation sa ground, sa mismong running of the company. Kasi maraming gusto yung may-ari na hindi umaayon doon sa core values ng mga tao sa organization. And this is where the friction allegedly is stemming from. Iba yung values ng mga tao na matagal na sa organization versus the value na gustong ipatupad nung bagong may-ari. And I understand na magkakaroon ng friction because, as they say, too many cooks spoil the broth. And dito ngayon yung dahilan kung bakit sa tingin kakaunawaan sa mga tao. From what I've heard, there was leaked plan na magkakaroon ng purge or magkakaroon ng weeding out ng mga tao sa loob ng organization. In fact, some of the people that we used to work with in the marketing and PR departments of the Miss Universe organization are no longer there. And lahat ng mga ito, it started at around 2021 and it kept on going up until now. Una dahil kinakailangang mag-retrench ng Endeavor because of the pandemic. Pero hindi nagtapos doon. Marami pang nangyari. And especially itong acquisition na ito wherein ang end goal is to actually have the headquarters here in Bangkok and a satellite na HQ in New York. Doon mo makikita na hindi lahat ng mga tao in the US would want to become expatriates and work at the main headquarters sa Bangkok. Because ang una naming narinig na chismis was that, ang initial na plan is main headquarters pa rin sa New York, pero may satellite na headquarters sa Bangkok. However, when nagkaroon ng press con last year si JKN, doon based on doon sa wording na ginamit doon sa press con, lumalabas na it's the other way around. So ngayon, maiintindihan ko kung bakit may mga tao like Esther Swan who would rather resign instead of committing herself to the organization, especially kung may mga pagbabago na hindi niya nagugustuhan na nangyayari. Ito chismis lang ito. These are unverified rumors, and I cannot say that these are 100% true, but there is friction there is some friction in the workplace that is going on, and I believe that Esther has all the rights and privileges to remove herself out from a toxic situation or an environment, a work environment that no longer serves her her purpose or serves her her goals, career-wise and personal-wise. So I am hoping na na maintindihan natin that itong mga pagbabago, these changes are just going to come more often in the next several weeks, several months, because ultimately, new ownership means new ways of doing things. That is why noong mga panahon na kumakalat yung mga bali-balita na may may gustong bumili ng Miss Universe organization na gusto siyang ibenta, I always say that, new does not always equate to being better. Na-excite ako doon sa prospect that it's going to be based here in Asia, yung Miss Universe. But I am also still hoping that there is a balance that they will able to do in terms of maintaining yung values, core values ng organization na na-establish na with the American organization, with the American team. And execution na lang of plans ang mangyayari. However, hindi ko na factor in na pwedeng iba yung direction na gustong patunguhan ni JKN when it comes to how she managed the Miss Universe organization. Naiintindihan ko that this is a growing pain. Naiintindihan ko that that this is, quite painful to look and observe from the perspective of longtime pageant fans, but this is a reality that we all have to face. We're not sure if this is going to be detrimental to the brand, but we are hoping that it's not. The best thing that we can do is to hope that this is a move that's going to be for the better rather than for, the detriment of the brand, and sana hindi mawala yung mga bagay-bagay na nagustuhan at na minahal natin sa Miss Universe organization, sa Miss Universe pageant, at hindi mawala yung mga bagay-bagay na yon. I am still in the high hopes that makarecover ang image ng Miss Universe dito. I think that there is opportunities here for growth, not just for the Miss Universe brand, but for the people who are going to manage it. But I am hoping na hindi maging masyadong drastic yung mangyayari sa pageant na ito dahil sa ngayon, karamihan ng mga pageant fans hindi natutuwa sa nangyayari. And the pageant fans that are not happy are either Asians or Latinos, which are essentially the biggest pageant fans there is in the world as of this moment. So, hindi malayo na yung mga chismis about matanggal si Paula is mangyari or mag-resign si Paula Shugart. Nangako naman si JKN na hindi niya tatanggalin si Paula Shugart. But I do hope na hayaan niya na i-manage ni Paula yung organization the way that she has in the past. And yung additional expertise ni Amy is mabigyan ng pansin in order for the brand to rise back up. Kasi sa ngayon nakikita ko na if JKN meddles too much, ang hirap gumalaw nung dalawa. Mahihirapan gumalaw si Amy at saka si Paula in order to move the brand forward and lift it up. So I hope na JKN gives Paula and Amy the opportunity na iangat yung image at yung branding ng Miss Universe, and still make it profitable for the organization as a whole. Okay? Basa muna tayo ng mga comments here. Agent James 007, Sir Jason, sabi ang franchise ng Miss Cosmo World ay naka-Sir Rogel ng KF. Sana ibigay niya po sa Binibining Pilipinas ang franchise para umangatang pageant dito sa Philippines at okay naman staging nila last year. Ang mahirap kasi dyan, Agent James, is that ayokong galawin yung mga established na yung franchise sa mga local partners. I would rather that Binibining Pilipinas would focus on mga pageant franchise na kasalukuyan naghahanap ng partners. And sana hindi sila ganoon quiet when it comes to the franchises, because I think even yung mga candidates gusto ding malaman kung ano yung mga titles ng Binibining Pilipinas this year. Hello the Universe, sabi niya Katrina Johnson, Makuda. Yes, agree. Katrina, I've heard her speak. She really is very smart, intelligent, and malakas yung com skills niya. GRF, Anne is soon gonna shut the NYC office. At this point, there are many employees who might be asked to resign. Ayokong sabihin na narinig ko na yan, pero at least ikaw ang nagsabi. Nasaan na ba tayo? Bernie Preconas TV, February 14, 2020 ang talent competition ng Binibining Pilipinas 2020. Sinabayan siya ng MUP. Ang ganda sana noon, ang kaso biglang nag-declare ng lockdown. Zaldi Paulino, baka po may surprise announcement ang BBP 2023 po. I am hoping na meron. Sana meron. Something big. But gusto ko munang ma-surprise at this point kasi I think the priority, at least for me, is to get to know more of the Binibining Pilipinas candidates first and foremost before the pasabogs from Binibining Pilipinas, because at this point in time, I think mas kailangan ng mga candidates ng exposure, mas kailangan ng mga candidates na mabigyan ng opportunities for people to get to know them better. Sabi din ni Agent James na sana makasama si Catriona Gray sa Execom. I hope for that too. But maybe in the future. Wag muna ngayon. I think mas maganda na pagtuunan ni Catriona yung kanyang career at saka yung kanyang engagement with Sam. Para hindi ma-discarril yung kanyang focus. Nasaan na ba tayo? GRF, do you think it's fair to ask for a much higher franchise fee when Miss Universe isn't owned by powerful Hollywood brands like the Trump or IMG? They pulled connections to put winners on the prestigious US platform. I do hope that maibalik doon sa level na one of the big four na mga television networks in the US mag-live airing ng Miss Universe pageant. I think yun yung nami-miss ko. It's actually the widespread na coverage that traditional media, traditional television networks would give the Miss Universe organization. Okay, Jonathan Perez, hi, watching from Canada. Hello there. I have friends in Canada. Sinay Larry, who is one of the founders of Sash Factor, is also based in Canada. So hello there. Love Nimrod. Hi, Sir Jason. Yee! Okay, hi. Hi, Love Nimrod. Medyo late ka ngayon or naputol ka lang kanina. Okay, Jonathan Perez, any thoughts or idea on Esther's mentioning faceless vlogger? Who could be it? Hindi ko alam yan. Yung faceless vlogger na may binanggit siyang ganun. And kung ang pinaparinggan niya is si Adam, I think naman, paano ba to? Ang basa ko sa sitwasyon na ito is that there is someone from the MU org na nag-reach out kay Adam na sinabi sa kanya na retirement ito, hindi ito resignation. But the fact that Esther said that she said it's a resignation at hindi retirement, kinda gives me this uneasy feeling na may gustong palabasin ang isang kampo, tapos iba yung katotohanan dun sa isang kampo. It feels like there was a damage control that has been put in place at naging biktima lang si Adam doon because nagsalita mismo si Esther. But this is also the reason why when it comes to scoops, hindi ako madalas yung automatic na nag-jump in because it feels like that there are possible behind the scenes working around na kung minsan yun ang nagkikick in yung gut feel mo na wag mo munang ilabas kasi baka may kuryente itong news bit na ito. Mas mabuti na yung delayed akong magsabi with regards to anong nalalaman ko an issue rather than I jump the gun and makuryente tayong lahat. hindi ko sinasabing hindi nangyari sa akin yun in the past. In fact, there are instances where I did jump the gun on certain issues, and then I had to, apologize and retract what I've said. So it's much better na at this point in time, medyo if a news article feels too good to be true, and your gut instinct is kicking in and saying na pumareno ka muna bago ka magsalita o bago ka maglabas ng iyong statement. Listen to that gut feel, kasi it's your instincts telling you that, hold on. Hold up muna. Huwag ka munang gumalaw. Make sure that, you investigate this first, because when lumabas nga yung post ni Adam na it's saying na it's a retirement, I already knew at that point in time na merong hindi magandang nangyayari doon sa working relationship sa New York. May mga chismis na akong naririnig at that point in time. Kaya hindi ko muna siya pinatos, because I am waiting for people to speak out. I'm waiting for Esther to give us her statement first, kasi una naman tong lumabas ng issue na to with M. Villanueva era. Although most of the time, when it comes to the Miss Universe or Miss Universe na mga chismis, tumatama sila, I made sure na bago ko sawsawan yung retirement or resignation na debate, naghintay muna ako ng possible developments. Kasi alam kong hindi retirement ang nagaganap. That there is, na may mga hindi magandang mga nangyayari, na yung mga taong inatasan ni JKN para i-review yung workings ng New York, essentially is like nagpadala siya ng, tignan mo kung ano yung mga ginagawa nila sa New York, ginagawa nila sa pagmamanage ng MU. And then ibalik nyo sa akin kung anong ma-found out nyo, at titignan ko kung ano yung mga pwede nating i-trim out na fat. And I think that's what's happening. JKN is not, it's not wrong to do that. It's her organization. But also, doon sa mga taong affected ng mga changes na ito, they are also within their rights na to be upset. Kasi kasi change is painful, especially if you are being treated as disposable by a company or an organization that you pledged loyalty with for the most of your career. So naiintindihan ko yung perspective ni Esther na aalis na lang ako, mag-resign na lang ako and hold my head high, rather than be enslaved to whatever the whims of the new owners is. So alam mo yun, respetuhin din lang natin din yung perspective ng both sides. Although we feel for Esther because nakita natin yung dedication niya sa kanyang trabaho. Hindi ko rin masabi na wala sa katwiran yung ginagawa ni JKN, kasi isang paluging negosyo ang binili niya at kinakailangan niyang palaguin ito. And if it means that she needs to trim fat, to trim the unnecessary, unwanted, unproductive parts of the organization, she's within her rights to do so. So yun. Nasaan na tayo? Let's move on sa mga comments. Okay? Hi Jason, sana ma-invite or maging judge mga previous Filipina winners ng Miss International sa Binibining Pilipinas Finals. Ganda lang siguro makita all 6 Filipina winners ng Miss International sa Binibining Pilipinas Finals. I agree. I actually wanted that to happen as well. But I think timing has something to do with it. Sometimes may mga pagkakataon na hindi magtugma-tugma yung kanilang mga schedules. What I do hope is that in the future, they would have like a full panel of former Binibining Pilipinas winners as judge, alongside celebrity na mga judges, alongside mga politicians and mga entrepreneurs na uupo doon sa judging table. And I am hoping like names like Charlene Gonzalez, names like Abigail Arenas, names like Maricar Palagtas, mga girls na during their time were really very famous in their careers, to sit as judge for Binibining Pilipinas in the future. Nasaan na tayo? Sabi ni Travel Junkie, Sir, actually last year, chika pa. After JKN brought MU, they foresee Paula will just handle Miss Universe or USA or she'll just resign. JQ says, Hi, JQ. Nasaan na? Damsum SNJHSM. Isang hello namang Sir Jason. Ayan. Agent James 007. Among the pageants, feel ko po, Miss International ang pinaka nag-benefit with Miss Universe being a standalone pageant. Miss International is now the top crown also of Señorita Colombia. And I think maganda din kasi na ang partners ng Miss International are long-standing na mga national pageants because it only reinforces the tradition and the importance of history when it comes to yung mga local na mga partners ng Miss International. Brown Dude 999. Aloha from Hawaii. I just tuned in. Regarding the Ever Belena show, it seems that they were judged by their glowing face instead of by their stage presence and pasarela skills. I think that's the MUPH na event. I was actually invited doon sa event na yon. However, I just felt under the weather last night at hindi na ako nakapunta. There are several other mga media friends that were also invited na hindi rin nakapunta. So it's just it's just sad na it's in the evening, malayo yung lugar. Tapos I just survived the finals week dun sa isa kong school na pinagtuturuan. So I would have loved to cover, but alam niyo naman, katawang lupa natin, napapagod din. Ayan, we have Dorothy V. Jones. I wish Binibining Pilipinas would allow younger, fresher, more creative personalities among its executive ranks. There's nothing to fear. Tradition must sometimes give way to innovation. I agree. And sana mabalanse yung tradition versus innovation and new things, modern things to innovate the pageant. Nasaan na to? Sabi ni Agent James, I feel po BBP is okay as long as they have Miss International, which is well loved by Filipino fans because of the success of our past winners and our loved and connection with the Japanese culture. Also amongst the alpha pageants, MI is the only pageant with a Miss Taiwan that speaks power po. EJ Belge, hello from Banawe, Ifugao. This is my first time in Ifugao. Yesterday I was in Sagada and tomorrow I am going to see the famous rice terraces. Good for you, EJ. Travel as much as you can, while you can. And Jam Amihan, out of topic po, ano po ang masasabi niyo na open na rin ang male pageants sa LGBTQIA to the likes of Man of the Philippines na nag-crown ng winner nila na si Paul Mark Buendia in the past year? I am, anything that speaks of diversity, open to different genders, races, ethnicities, I am all for it. I think it's about time that we normalize seeing LGBTQIA+ na mga members of the community being represented in pageantry kasi for the longest time the audience of pageantry is the LGBTQ na community, but we're not allowed to be represented in pageantry. So I'm okay. I'm open to diversity. EJ Baay, late na naman ako. Good evening everyone and Sir Jason. Good evening din AJ. Dorothy V. Jones, I'm glad to hear your view on Esther Swan topic. I'm one who's very particular about taking sides on personality issues. I don't relish digging into intrigue, more so if I happen to have followers. Brown Dude 999, for Miss Universe, the candidate should show confidence, leadership, queenly qualities, and not trying to act shy or sweet. I think authenticity is something that we really need to stress on your comment. Yun yung madalas na nagiging issue natin, that a lot of our candidates, a lot of our girls try to, to be somebody that they're not, just to impress and just to fit a mold of what a pageant is looking for. And I think we need to start to ask these girls to be authentic. Put their best foot forward, yes. But that doesn't mean that they adopt a persona that's totally not who they are. Nasaan na ba tayo? Travel Junkie, until when do you think na magiging stable ang mga issues sa Miss Universe? Pagbagsak na nila. Travel Junkie, I don't think that magiging stable ang Miss Universe over the next 2 years. Starting nitong October. Or starting nitong pageant nila ni this January. Because they're not yet in the financial green. Kumbaga, wala pa sila doon sa dun sa area na self-sustaining na ulit sila, that they are not in the red financially. So, maraming mga changes tayong makikita over the next, I think, 2 years. Because they are still finding their footing as of this moment with the new organization's owner. Okay, AJ Baay, Sir Jason, your reaction about the clapping of Esther Swan about her resignation allegation. Tawang-tawa kasi ako sa nagsabing may reliable source. I think ito yung pagkakataon na any media personality needs to be very careful because you don't want that nagagamit ka to push someone's agenda. Kailangan maging maingat ka because sometimes there are scoops that hindi mo kinakailangang patusin or hindi mo kinakailangan ilabas because you need to find more reliable sources or you need to, timplahin mo yung moment baka may nangyayari behind the scenes na hindi mo alam at nagagamit ka lang for as a possible scapegoat. So ayun, I think we need to exercise restraint on certain issues that that can damage our reputation. I think that's the best way to look over at it. Adam is, if I'm not mistaken, victim of several pageant personalities in the past to push their own agenda. And I would have expected that Adam, being the same age as me, would have had the maturity to learn from previous experience and apply that in here. Friend ko si Adam, friend ko si Tita, and it's very difficult to be, to be the Switzerland between, these two pageant personalities na very strong din yung kanilang mga personalities. But I do hope that not just for Adam or for Tita or for, for myself, but for everybody na pageant media, would be very careful when it comes to scoops because sometimes may mga pagkakataon, may mga scoops na kinakailangan mo rin timplahin kung kinakailangan ilabas. Kung kinakailangan mong patusin. Because there are issues na kapag pinatus mo kasi, madudumihan ka lang. So, better not be involved in the, squalor that's happening there. This is a learning opportunity not just for Adam but also for myself kasi in the past I've also did some jumping the gun on certain issues and I felt na I've learned from that experience. So there. Nasaan na tayo? EJ Belge, by the way, Jason, where do you teach and what subjects or courses do you teach? I teach at three schools, three universities here in the Philippines. I teach merchandising, I teach retail merchandising, fashion illustration, fashion design. I also teach color theory and principles of design and several other, mga classes on fashion. Where are we? Thoughts nyo, sir? Agent James 007. Thoughts nyo, sir, na bigger venue ang Miss International ngayon sa Japan, which is Yoyogi Gymnasium in Tokyo. Same lang. Kasi, ang gusto kong mangyari is mag-modernize ang Miss International. What I would want them to try to do is to have an actual preliminary competition. And then, ang magko-compete na lang sa finals are, the top 20 or top 15 of the pageant. I think it's time to add a little bit more modernity doon sa competition ng Miss International. Saldi Salen, nakaabot din. I just watched later yung earlier part na na-miss ko. Good evening, Sir Jason. Good evening din. Amara Severa, hello from Italia. I love your content because you give reasonable and fair insights. Kudos. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Nakakataba ng puso. It really, it really warms our heart to hear compliments from you guys. Nasa na ba tayo? We're almost 2 hours na sa ating pa-live stream, so let's read na itong mga last few comments. Travel Junkie, good points on all topics. Thank you, sir. Thumbs up, double hearts. Jam Amihan, Sir Jason, ideal po ba si Gemma Cruz Aranetang mag-take over dahil active pa din siya sa arts and culture na after ni Madam Stella since former Miss International rin siya at somehow connected sa mga Araneta? Here's the thing. If Gemma Cruz would want the position, I don't see anything wrong with that. But I don't think that Gemma Cruz at this point in her career is still invested on pageantry. I think she's moved on to more, substantial pursuits on writing. She's an author. She's a patron of the arts. So I think yung kanyang priorities when it comes to that, ang pageantry na sa pinakamababa na prioridad. So I don't know if she would be willing to take over that task or open to it. Dorothy V. Jones, many have missed the significance of the Esther Swan resignation. Instead, they have unwittingly focused on Hedda Hopper versus Luella Parsons feud. Belladonna says, if I were to name JKN's era, I would call it erratic. Patawa ka talaga, Belladonna. Okay, Agent James 007, Sir Jason, yun din po bakit parang office ng Miss Paris lagi venue ng preliminary ng Miss International. Hindi ba nila pwede gawin ito sa main venue like other pageants? Improvement sana sa prelims. Yun na nga yung sinasabi ko, na sana, ma-elevate pa yung pageant lalo. Brown Dude 999. I saw this video of this lady, Brittany Freelander, who is Miss Philippines Hawaii 2021. She has shocking resemblances to Beatrice Luigi. James 77 says, wala namang problema sa activities and treatment sa girls sa MI except lang talaga na bash sila sa main show at preliminary. Okay, guys, it's almost 2 hours since we did our live stream, and I think let's wrap it up na yung conversation natin. I think yung issue on the resignation ni Esther Swan sa Miss Universe is just the beginning. It's just the, it will open more can of worms, so to speak, because I don't think that dito matatapos yung mga issues ng pageant na ito. I don't think that this is the last of the issues that we will be hearing with regards to the pageant, and there will be more. And I think we need to be very level-headed when it comes to this, kasi it will affect a lot of things. It will affect the pageant, it will affect the organization, it will affect how we perceive the Bangkok team versus the New York team. We will be looking at this as a opportunity to learn on the inner workings of pageantry, and more on the business side. Makikita natin na hindi lahat ng pagkakataon, lahat ng nakikita natin na maganda, maganda yung nangyayari behind the scenes. There are also, intrigues and politics that is happening. And I do hope na sana hindi ito maging madumi. Yun lang yung gusto kong mangyari. If ever na it will worsen, I do hope that it will not become something na would drag, people and personalities into the mess. So that's it. Thank you very much for the 2 hours that is spent with me in this live stream. I do hope to see you in our next na mga live streams. And kung hindi ko nabasa yung mga comments niyo, pagpasensyahan niyo na. I try as much as possible to read as much of all the comments as I can. Pero syempre, we are also limited by our time constraints. And speaking for 2 hours continuously, medyo masakit din sa lalamunan. So, I do hope to see you in our next live stream though. I will try to make sure na every week meron tayong pag-uusapan na topic. Okay? Thank you very much for everyone na sumubaybay ngayon. I do hope na at the end of the live stream, you would, like and follow us here on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and see you next week. Bye everyone. Have a great weekend.